Hi, my name is Nick and I'm from Canland Sports. Now I'm currently at Duke's Swords for Sports where they're gonna give me the lowdown on everything that I need to get on the ice and start playing. Canland Sports is where you play, but this is where you learn what you need to play. Come, follow me. Hello everybody, my name is Nick from Canland Sports and I'm here with my main guy, Ken from Duke's Source for Sports. We're looking for neck guards today. I'll be completely honest with you, Ken, I kind of like my neck in one piece. Do I need a neck guard to make it stay that way?
For you, you don't necessarily need one. They're not normally mandated in adult leagues. For kids out there, you will need to wear one in most organized leagues. The way I look at it, if you grew up wearing one, why take it off? You need to make sure that your neck guard is B&Q certified, and you can find that out by just looking for a specific marking on the neck guard itself. Now, keep in mind, a neck guard's primary purpose is to protect you against lacerations. So if it is certified, it's going to do a very good job at that. Now, there are some styles that will offer a degree of impact protection, and so those ones will have some extra padding. However, try a couple different ones on to make sure you find one that you're most comfortable with. Well, you're gonna wanna make sure the majority of your neck is covered, at least 3/4 of the way up. You also can't have it sitting too loose on you or else it's not gonna be doing the job it's intended for. You're gonna want the neck guard to be comfortably snug. Think of like a turtleneck.
I know that there's the t-shirt vibe where you could have the neck guard part of it or it can be separate. Do you recommend one or the other?
It's all about personal preference and what you're most comfortable with. The neck guard shirts are B&Q certified, so they will give you the protection that you need, and they're also considered to be very comfortable. However, it depends what you want to wear underneath your equipment. So if you prefer to wear something like a t-shirt or something, you may want to have the neck guard protection just on its own. The key is just try before you buy.
Pricing wise, what are we looking at here, Ken?
Not much. A neck guard on its own can start as low as $15. And if you want an extra collar piece, you're looking about $20, $25, $40 for some extra padding. Now, if you choose to go with the shirt in place as well, that's gonna get up around $60 to $80. Now, those shirts are more moisture wicking, so there are a premium top when it comes down to it.
Okay, gotcha. Guys, thank you so much to Ken, Duke Source for Sports, for teaching us what we need to know. Hello everybody, it's Nick from Canland Sports here with Ken from Duke's Source for Sports. Today, we're gonna be looking at some gloves. Why are they important for hockey?
Well, they're definitely gonna give you the protection that you need, and you're gonna feel good when you're playing on the ice. There are various different versions. You have a traditional fit, which is more of a four-roll. Some are quite tapered, and then there's everything in between as well. If you're just starting off, you're not gonna wanna find a glove that's got too much protection. They're gonna get too stiff, and you're not gonna be comfortable when you're on the ice. Last but not least, you're gonna wanna look good. A lot of these gloves come in a variety of color options, so you can either pick your favorite color or choose a glove that matches your team.
As far as fitting wise goes, is that just a comfort thing or what? Is there sizing?
So for fit-wise, there's not necessarily a full formula for it. Now, kids, we know they're gonna grow, so we're gonna wanna give them a little bit of a bigger size so they last a little bit longer. However, you wanna ensure that they have full control of the glove. For adults, you're gonna wanna have full control of the glove, nice and firm, but not too tight that you could potentially jam your finger. So there is a degree of personal preference as long as you're fully covered and you feel comfortable.
Gloves are the just most horrendously smelling hockey equipment items that you can have. Is there anything that we can do about that? The jury's still out, or what do you recommend?
Yeah, a bit of a loaded question. I don't have that perfect formula to offer you, I'm sorry. Best advice I can give you is just try to keep them dry as much as you can when you're not using them.
Right, and assuming that the stink doesn't completely burn through what you already have, is there a way to repair these things? How long are they going to last me?
Well, gloves can last you quite a long time. Mine personal, they're lasting me about 10 years now. Now you
look at you, Ken, keeping them dry.
That's exactly it. Now you can get them repaired. However, the cost of getting the glove repaired or repalmed sometimes comes up close to the pair of a brand new set.
Same thing as just getting another one, right?
Just better to just flip them, start fresh.
Okay, and speaking of getting a fresh set, how much is this gonna set me back on average here?
Well, for kids, you can get started for as low as $35, maybe up to $50, depending on which style they decide to go with. You and I will probably get going at around $70 to $90 as an entry pair of gloves.
Ken, thank you so much for teaching us everything about gloves. I feel like I know a lot more now, and I feel like I could be ready to actually throw down.
Okay, we'll see.
What do you guys got, huh? Come on, come on, come on. Hi everybody, it's Nick here from Canland Sports. I'm here with Ken from Duke Source for Sports. I wanna know about shoulder pads, I wanna know about elbow pads, I wanna know how to protect the upper body. What do I need to know?
Well, the first thing you gotta determine, are you playing with body checking or not?
Right.
Now, most kids and adult leagues, they're usually non-contact, so that's not going to be a factor, but that is going to help narrow the search. For shoulder pads, you're going to want to make sure that you have proper protection where you need it, which is your shoulders, of course, along the collarbone, the front sternum and chest, your back, and of course your biceps.
Right.
For the elbow pad, you want to make sure that it is on very snug. So you can go bigger, but you want to make sure that able to flex and that this elbow pad doesn't move on its own, especially when they're grinding it out on the ice. They are not just designed to protect your funny bone. They're also going to give you some additional protection on the bicep as well as along the forearm against slashing. You're going to want to find pads that give you the proper protection, but they are also very flexible, so you can play without anything being too cumbersome when you're on ice.
Move around, you know?
Exactly. There are many different body types. So a lot of the key hockey brands out there have actually built different styles of shoulder pads for different body shapes as well. Some are a little traditional, some are a little bit tapered fit. So you got to try on a few that are best for you. For protection wise though, for yourself as a full grown adult, you're gonna wanna make sure that that shoulder cap is covering the center part of your shoulder.
Okay.
You're gonna want some protection on your chest. Now don't go too low or else that's gonna impede against your stomach when you try to lean over to skate.
Gotcha, yeah.
Giving you coverage on the collarbones, as well as the bicep pad about halfway, 3/4 way down. Now a lot of them are also flexible, and then it's gonna give you some coverage to your lower back as well.
If I'm not in a contact league, do I still need these?
My answer is gonna be yes.
Okay.
And the reason being is you just can't go wrong with too much protection.
Right.
Now, again, there are different styles of shoulder pads that will give you a lot more flexibility and really the basic coverage to where you need it.
And I mean, speaking about elbow pads and shoulder pads, I read somewhere that you should be buying these at the same time. Like, first off, is that important? And second off, do they need to be the same brand? Do they need to kind of align with each other? What are your thoughts?
No, you do not need to buy it all together at the same time. Especially you're gonna find with kids, they're gonna grow differently. So sometimes they might grow out of their shoulder pads, but the elbow pads are gonna be just fine. Mix and match. Find what's most comfortable. There's a lot of great hockey brands, a lot of great pads out there. Find the one that suits you. Don't get too caught up with the name that's on it.
Are there some out there that are gonna last longer? And maintenance-wise, how do I kind of make sure that I'm not in here every season buying a new pair of shoulder pads or elbow pads?
Shoulder pads and elbow pads can last a long time. In fact, actually, there's a lot of stories of NHLers who are still using the same pads they had when they were in their teenage years.
Actually, quick shout out here to our ASHL league in Scotia Barn. There are some guys out there with their shoulder pads, elbow pads, decades long. I kid you not. The duct tape is insane, but it gets the job done.
Absolutely. The only thing I can really suggest is try to keep it dry. A lot of the times, as long as you're taking proper care of, which is getting them out of your bag, hanging them up, keeping them dry, they can last quite a while. For kids, it's tough to say. We don't have that crystal ball for how quickly they're going to grow, so we will try to give them a little bit more growth space to begin with.
Yeah.
You just don't want to go too big.
How much are we gonna be spending on stuff like this?
Well, I'll start off with kids. For kids, you're gonna start off for the shoulder pads, about $40.
Really?
And
40 bucks?
That's it. And it'll get you the protection you need. The elbow pads are about $25 to start.
All right.
And then as they grow and as they develop, you can find different styles that's best for those games as they continue to play. For adults, you're looking at about $70 to start with the shoulder pads and maybe about $45 on the elbow pads. Again, they can last for quite some time.
Okay, sounds good. Ken, thank you so much again. So there you have it, guys. Hitting league, non-hitting league, doesn't matter. You still want to have these things. Let's go pick out a pair, man.
Let's do it.
Hi everybody, it is Nick from Canland Sports. I am joined with Ken from Duke's Source for Sports. We're looking at the bottom half right now, Ken. Hockey pants, the jock, the Jill. Why are hockey pants important? Are they just glorified snow pants? Tell me about it, man.
Well, hockey pants are very important. They're going to offer you the protection that you need, not just against those bumps against the boards or other players, but also give you some added protection against any wild pucks that may come from missing shots or passes. The protection is going to be significant for your kidneys, your thighs, your lower back, as well as give you some extra protection against the tailbone. You're gonna need to be comfortable first and foremost.
Yes.
Now, even though we call them hockey pants, they're kind of more like shorts. So when you're having them sitting, you're gonna have them right on your waist. You want them for us to come just to about the top of your knee. And for kids, no further down than halfway down your kneecap. You don't want them to go too low, otherwise it's gonna be a hard time to try to skate out there.
And is that because like also room to grow or?
Exactly. We want to give them a little bit of added space. Now, keep in mind that some of the pants out there are actually adjustable in length. So the pant itself can grow while your youngster does as well.
So you could actually buy a pant and then as you're aging, you're playing hockey, that you can just have the same pair of pants.
Exactly.
So always the key question here, Ken, maintenance. If they rip, if they break, can I repair them?
Well, you keep asking the same question, I'll keep giving you a very similar answer.
Okay.
The main thing you want to do is keep them dry. So when you're not playing, keep them out of your bag, hang them up if you can. Pants can last a long time. Mine are going on almost 15 years.
Ken, I know a lot of viewers right now are probably wondering, how do we fully protect the, valuable areas, if you will, down there? Is hockey pants enough or do we need something else?
You're gonna need some added protection. There's actually two different types of protection for the pelvic area. We have a jock cup or a Jill protector, and it's just best to find the one that's best for your needs.
Okay. Fit, personal preference, comfort.
It's actually quite simple. A lot of the times you can just go by your waist size.
Okay.
And some of them are shorts where they have a drawstring or they're an elastic waistband as well. From there, most of these pieces of protection will actually second as a garter belt. So they're gonna hold your hockey socks up above your shin guards.
Okay.
So the main piece of advice for that is you're gonna want those to sit kind of in that mid-thigh area.
Right.
And that should be very comfortable for most players.
Monetarily speaking, hockey pants, jock, Jill, what are we looking at?
So, as I mentioned, hockey pants can last several seasons, so you will get a bit more time out of that. For kids, you're gonna be looking at about $40 to $50 for the first pair of pants, and for us, we're looking for something very simple, about $70 to $80. Now, for the jock or Jill protection, you're gonna be looking at approximately $15 to $20 if you want just the standard setup itself. If you look at some of the shorts, whether it's a loose mesh or a compression fit, those can go around $30 to $50.
Ken, thank you so much for teaching us all we need to know about our hockey pants, the jock, the Jill. Clearly, this is very important, so I'm gonna go take care of my MVP alone, please, if you don't mind. Hi everybody, it is Nick from Canland Sports. I'm here with Ken from Duke's Source for Sports. We're looking at shin guards today. Now I know that in soccer, they are absolutely super important. Are they important in hockey?
Absolutely. Hockey's a fast game, so that puck can really fly around quite quickly. And there'll always be those accidental slashes that you're gonna get in the heat of the game.
Accidental,
Yeah,
right?
hopefully the slasher gets 2 minutes in the box for it. But you wanna ensure that you're well protected so you can keep on playing.
Okay, and considering I was bringing up soccer, I mean, I played soccer all my life. I got an old pair of soccer shin guards. Can I use those? Are those transferable or are there specific ones for hockey?
It's a different game. So you're gonna need the right tools to get the job done when you're playing hockey. See, hockey shin guards offer a bit more thicker protection, as well as they actually come up much higher and give you some knee protection. Also, depending on the model, some of them will actually even wrap around to give you some added calf protection as well.
Is there anything that I should look for when I'm fitting these?
Absolutely. So the knee part of the shin guard itself should be about the center of your kneecap. All right, you want to sit properly. Now the shin guards themselves will come low just to about the ankle bone. For kids, you can go a little bit longer, but make sure you don't go too long or else it's gonna be sitting on top of the skate and you're not gonna have a good time trying to make those turns on the ice.
Absolutely, you definitely want to have all that agility and mobility when you're on the ice. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of wear and tear for these things, like you said, pucks, skates, sticks, maintenance. Can I do anything to keep them lasting fresh longer? And if they break, can I repair them?
Shin guards can last several seasons, all right, even for the youngsters who are growing up with them. The best thing you can do, as I've said for other pieces of equipment, try to keep them dry. So when you're at home, get them out of your bag, hang them up. Now, there's a lot of styles of shin guards as well. You can actually remove the inner liner and throw it into your washing machine at home. That'll help keep them fresher. Other than that, if they start to break down or fall apart, it's best to just replace them.
Money-wise, how much are these things gonna cost?
They're not too bad. For kids, you can get set up for about $30 to $40, depending on the style of play. And for adults, just about $70 or so. Now, as you progress on the ice, you can actually find different pads that are more suitable for your game. They'll have some additional protection. So those might just add a little bit more to the price.
Ken, thank you so much for telling us all we need to know about shin pads. I'm gonna go get suited up.
Let's do it.
Hi everybody, it is Nick from Canland Sports. I'm here with Ken from Duke's Source for Sports. I'm also joined with Jacob here, who is a star on the Markham Waxers. Jacob needs a new pair of skates. I just need a pair of skates. What's the first thing that we should look for?
The first thing we need to determine is what are these skates going to be used for? Like, are you just going to be doing some recreational, fun skating, or are you going to be on the ice several times a week like Jacob here?
Jacob, how often are you on the ice?
3 times a week.
At his age, playing that much hockey, a skate's actually gonna be built and designed for just that purpose. The second piece of information that I'm gonna need to know is if you've previously owned a pair of skates before, what were they like? Did they fit well, or did they hurt your feet? There are many different skate options that will help you accomplish the goal that you need on the ice. There's also different fit profiles. So just if you had a bad experience with one skate, doesn't necessarily mean that we can't find a skate that will fit you great.
So if he was a size 2, then where would we start?
Well, we would absolutely measure him on specific skate scanners that can actually scan his feet to help determine the sizing.
Right.
But we'd probably be starting at generally a 13.5 or a size 1.
You guys got scanners?
We have scanners. So all the top skate manufacturers will actually take a full 3D scan of your foot. With this technology we have, we're gonna be able to determine the best fit, not just the size, but the type of fit profile that you need for a skate. For instance, I'm gonna size you a little bit differently than I will size Jacob here. See, you're not growing as much, and we know Jacob's gonna go up like a weed anytime now. So we wanna make sure that we give him the right amount of space in that skate. However, we're gonna wanna make sure that we don't go too big. Otherwise, he's not gonna have any fun when he's on the ice. Now, pretty much every skate on the market, you can heat mold. What that will do is actually help you break in the skate a little bit quicker, help it feel a bit more comfortable. And then there's other skates on the market that will actually take a memory fit and form to your feet. So again, the break-in would be very easy on ice.
Obviously, these aren't the cheapest items when it comes to hockey gear. I want to maintain them. I want to make sure that they don't, degrade in value or anything like that. What would you recommend doing?
Well, the skates aren't going to last you forever if that's what you're hoping for. With a little bit of maintenance and proper sizing, you can get a little bit of extra time out of skates.
Right.
Jacob, what's the first thing that you do for your skates when you get off the ice?
Well, I usually, first off, I wipe all the snow off so there's no snow. Next, I take my skate guards and I dry the blade so it doesn't rust. And I just put the skate guards back on.
That's exactly what you want to do.
Hold up, Ken, what are you even doing here, man? Like, look at this. I should be taking lessons from this guy. Like,
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. One thing to do first and foremost is take the laces out of the top 2 or 3 eyelets. That'll allow the skate to open right up so your foot will come out and go into the skate easily so your heel's not rubbing against the liner so it doesn't prematurely tear. It's a good idea to invest into a good pair of skate guards. Those will protect your blades so they don't get nicked or damaged, so that way you don't have to sharpen them as often. That will help maintain the wear life of the blade. Keep them dry. So when you get home, make sure they come out of your hockey bag, they're hung up if you're able to do that, take those skate guards off and dry the blades down again. So again, they're not just sitting in a damp bag. And the last piece that you're gonna wanna do is if you can take the inside footbed out of the skate.
Right.
That will again help the skate to dry so that those rivets that hold the blade and the boot together won't rust out.
Do you know how often you get your skates sharpened?
Usually it's 7 games.
7 games. Okay, so is that kind of the accurate timeline for how often you need to be getting your skates sharpened? And then also too, when I buy them, do they need to get sharpened out of the box?
Well, firstly, yes, to answer your second question.
Yes,
any
okay.
new skate has to be sharpened, or else you're just gonna be doing a great impression of Bambi on the ice. For Jacob, every 7 times, that's about the right type of sense. Now, there is some personal preference. There's a lot of people who like the sharpening to last a little bit longer. Others like to have their skates sharpened before every single ice time. You're gonna find what's best for you,
Right.
but make sure that they are sharp enough so you get that right grip when you're skating on the ice.
Roughly here, I know that there is a wide range when it comes to skates. What can I expect to spend on an entry-level pair?
Yeah, to get started, so for some of the young kids, you can get a great pair of skates starting anywhere from about $50 to $70. And for adults, you can go anywhere from about $70 to $90 just to give you that entry point to get onto the ice.
Ken, thank you so much, man, for teaching us everything we need to know about skates. I know I feel a lot more confident. Jacob, what do you say? Want to lace them up, get on the ice?
Think you can keep up?
Hi everybody, it's Nick from Canland Sports. Now I am joined by Ken from Duke's Source for Sports and also star forward from the Markham Waxers, Jacob. Today, Ken, I wanted to talk about helmets, and the first thing that came to my mind was, if I'm not playing in the NHL, I'm not playing in a league where there's gonna be big hitting, big checking, do I even need a helmet?
Well, the short answer is yes. Yes, you do. First off, a lot of arenas and rinks out there will mandate one. However, you cannot go wrong with too much protection. So even if you're skating on those outdoor rinks or backyard rinks, the ice can even be unlevel. It's best to keep yourself protected from those unexpected and unfortunately inevitable falls.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Jacob, you're pretty much always wearing the helmet, right?
Yes.
All right, good stuff, yeah. When it comes to fitting the helmet, what are kind of the guidelines here, the protocols?
Well, we have a saying here at Source of Sports. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't protect. Since everyone's head shape is different, you're gonna need to find the right helmet that fits you best. So a helmet that I would give Jacob is gonna be quite different than the one I may give you. And I'm not just talking about sizing.
Yeah.
See, a lot of these helmets, you can adjust them, but they all just sit a little bit differently on the head. So it's best that you try on several to make sure you're finding the one that fits you best. Now, the main key points that you're looking for is when you have the helmet on, you want to make sure that it's nice and snug. There's no space along the temples. You want it to come down to the forehead, but no more than about a finger width above the eyebrow. And from there, you want to ensure that your ears are covered and that the back of the helmet's not coming down too low so it doesn't dig into your neck when you look up.
So at my league, should we be wearing a visor or a cage?
Technically, only people who are 18 years old or older can wear a half visor. From there, everyone else should have full facial protection. Now, you can have that with a cage or even a full shield.
Right.
That part comes to a little bit personal preference. Some people don't necessarily want those bars in front of your face. However, the cages tend to be a lot lighter and they're not gonna fog up to impede that vision. The key point that you gotta keep in mind though, no matter what you choose to go with, is that that chin cup is nice and snug against the chin to prevent that helmet from moving up and down.
Okay, so now that we know the fit, obviously we want to make sure that these are as safe as possible. How long can they last?
Well, they can actually last quite a while. Jacob, how long have you had your helmet?
2 years.
See, for about 2 years, that's good. See, a lot of these helmets can actually adjust. Some of them have more than one adjustment. So as Jacob grows, you can actually expand the fit of the helmet itself as well. Now, for maintenance-wise, you want to make sure you keep it dry. So when you get it home, get that helmet out of the bag, hang it up if you can, give it a wipe down. You want to check to see if any of the screws are loose, make sure that they're nice and snug. Don't over-tighten them because you don't want to crack that shell. Now, take a look at the padding if the padding starts to get really firm, or even if any of that padding falls out, you're gonna wanna replace your helmet immediately. For any hockey helmet that you're gonna buy that goes on the ice, when you look at the back of the helmet, there's gonna be these 2 certification stickers. One is for Canada only, it's called CSA, and the other one is for the United States, it's called HEC. Now they have 2 different reasonings to them as well. The HEC actually will give you an expiry date. Now that is only applicable to the United States. In Canada, based off CSA, the helmets don't expire. The date on that is actually the year that that helmet, that color, that size was certified. However, regardless, to skate in Canada or the US, you're gonna need those stickers on the helmet, so if you have them on your helmet, don't take them off.
Mouth guards, where does that factor into the equation here? Do you always need one?
You don't necessarily need one. Jacob, do you wear a mouth guard?
I used to, but only because I have teeth they're growing in.
See, that's a great answer. His teeth are still growing in. Now, when Jacob gets all his permanent teeth, may not be a bad idea to get a mouth guard. Just give you that extra protection to protect your teeth, as well as it'll absorb any impacts if you do have a fall. Biggest thing is the mouth guard just might save you a lot of money at the dentist.
And just to throw it out there to people who are watching right now, in grade 9, I had a mouth guard for football. I had no idea that you had to warm these things up and then bite down. So I was just biting into this like raw piece of plastic for quite a while. You don't need to do that, everybody. You can warm them up. They will fit your teeth. Final question for you, Ken. Helmet, mouth guards, how much is this stuff gonna cost us?
Well, for kids, young kids who are just starting off, you can get a good helmet with a cage for about $70. Okay. For us, if we're just going for some fun skates, anywhere from $80 to $100, you can get a set up. Now, if you start playing a bit more competitive hockey, you might want to look at a helmet and cage combo, which is maybe about $150 to $200. Mouth guards can be pretty simple. You can find mouth guards out there for $10 or even less. However, if you want one that's going to mold really well so you can breathe and talk easier, you're going to be looking around $20, $25.
Ken, thanks so much, man, teaching us everything that we need to know about helmets. Let's go pick a few up, boys. Hi everybody, it's Nick from Canland Sports. Now I am joined with Ken from Duke's Source for Sports, and also Jacob. Come on, join the shot. Star forward for the Markham Waxers, Jacob here. This is gonna be a fun one, everybody. We're here looking for hockey sticks, preferably the ones that score all of the goals. Ken, what's the first thing that we should be looking for?
Well, the first thing we have to figure out, which way do you shoot? Are you shooting left or are you shooting right?
Jacob?
I shoot left-handed.
Shoot left? And do you shoot left because that's most comfortable, or are you left-handed?
I'm left-handed.
Okay.
No, I'm right-handed.
You need to figure out which one is most comfortable. It's not a straight correlation to whether you're left-handed or right-handed. Right. I'm a southpaw, and I shoot right. So whichever one is most comfortable for you. The second part we got to figure out is finding a stick that is tall enough for you. Now we're gonna be cutting all these sticks down, so don't be thrown off if it's just you don't find that perfect one and you need to chop off a little bit. That's fine. You just don't wanna be cutting too much off because that's going to affect the flex.
Right.
Which is one of the last pieces you gotta determine is finding that right flex. Now the old rule of thumb that we used to have was finding the flex that's about half your weight. Okay. Now that's a good starting point, but once you develop and once you play a little bit more, you're gonna get your own personal preference as to whether you want a stick that is a lot stiffer or you like one that has a lot more whip to it.
And as far as height goes, I mean, Jacob right here, like where would you want the stick to land if you were sizing him up?
So it does partly depend on what position he plays. So for Jacob, who's a forward on his skates, you may want it around the chin. A little shorter stick, allow him to stick handle a little bit better. Defensemen, when they're on their skates, may want the stick at their nose. A little bit more reach so they can poke check.
Right.
You can of course cut it all around if you're not sure what's most comfortable, but just like the flex, it comes down to a little bit of personal preference.
I mean, I also heard too, and I'm just fully pulling this out, longer stick, you just get a little bit more torque, so those slap shots, if you are a defenseman, I guess like just a little bit more power, right?
That's it. You just basically get a little bit more momentum coming out of it. But now conversely for that, a forward who's tight in front of the net might want a shorter stick because they'll be able to get those rebounds a little quicker.
I've also been seeing just a ton of TikToks and people talking about the curve, talking about the I don't know, the bottom half of your stick. How does that factor into it, and how can I tell what's right for me?
Well, my advice when you're first starting off is to find a curve that's a little bit more moderate, all right? You don't want that big hook right out of the gate. This will allow you to have better control when you're stick handling. You'll be able to develop your passes a little bit better and be able to get your shot velocity up. If you go with a curve that's too big right away, sure, you'll get that puck off the ice, but the puck's gonna kind of flutter around.
Right.
So my advice is start a little bit more moderate and then try a couple different ones and graduate, and sure enough, you'll be making your own TikTok.
As far as maintenance goes for hockey sticks, I mean, I've seen some NHLers, they just run through these things. I don't have $1 million. Do you have $1 million? No. Okay, so how do we maintain these things so we don't need to be coming back here every week?
Well, there isn't a ton you can do for maintenance when it comes to a hockey stick. Like, I've had a hockey stick that has lasted me over a year. I've also broken a hockey stick in the very first game I used it. Right. That's why it's a good idea to have a backup hockey stick. How many sticks do you have?
3 that I usually bring, but I only bring 2 to all of my games because I think 3 is just a bit too many.
Is there one in particular that scores the most goals?
Yes, my every day and every game stick, I always use that one.
So I particularly have a problem. My stick just doesn't seem to want to score any goals. Like, is that the stick's problem?
Not necessarily. Like, hockey sticks, they are covered with a 30-day warranty, but that covers breakage. That doesn't necessarily cover against non-scoring.
What about the tape job, though? Because I have been seeing a lot of people talk about different tape jobs. You know, McDavid's got one, McKinnon's got one, Ovechkin's got one. I'm sure Jacob even has one.
Tape's gonna help protect your blade, all right? Additionally, it's also gonna actually absorb a lot of that vibration from impact, so it's gonna give you better control of the puck when you're stick handling or shooting. Now, make sure you're using the right tape. You wanna make sure you're using cloth-based hockey tape, and not the shin pad plastic tape that you may also see on my shelves.
Is there specific colors that work better? I actually saw somebody talking about how black is the best color because you might be able to hide the puck a little bit better. Is there any truth to that?
Now, traditionally, black tape is used on the blade, and white tape is often used on the top. However, there are so many different types of tape now that you can kind of customize your hockey stick. So we have tape in almost every color. We have tape that has superhero logos, country flags, even rainbow tape if you want to represent some pride. So there's a lot of fun you can do with your hockey stick by just selecting the right type of tape.
Now, I know that before we started shooting, Jacob was actually telling me that he has a specific tape job that he does and you model it after a player. Do you want to talk about that, Jacob?
Yeah, so I model after Connor Bedard, and I like his tape job because he goes from heel to toe, and when he stick handles on the ice, heel to toe, it's better because it doesn't scratch the bottom of the blade that much, and when you do the toe drags, it doesn't scratch up the top of the blade.
Okay, well, I would never know that because I'm not good enough to do toe drags, but there you have it.
And that's the thing. There's such a mass variety of different ways you can tape your sticks. It's just about finding the one that's best for you.
Well, speaking about variety, I also know that there is various different prices that are attributed to these hockey sticks. What can I expect to spend if I'm gonna buy an entry-level stick?
There's a mass variety of hockey sticks. So there's still some hockey sticks that are made of wood these days, believe it or not. Then different composites, whether it's fiberglass, carbon, graphite. So there's so many different styles, and that's gonna affect the price. Now, here at Duke Source of Sports, we find that composites are best just because they are very consistent. Now, the pricing for composite sticks, not as much as you think. For kids just starting off, it's only gonna be about $50 to start. And for adults, about $70, $90. So it's not necessarily gonna be the biggest budget item in your hockey gear.
Ken, thank you so much for teaching us everything we need to know about sticks. Let's go shop for one, boys. Mine doesn't seem to want to score any goals, so let's go pick some out.